going to review with you today the shop floor web app and how it integrates with your M1 solution. So here we have a web page. Now this can be accessed by any device, whether it be a mobile device, cell phone, a tablet, and or a PC. As you can see here, I'm logged in through a web browser, and I'm going to log in here as Andy Scholes. And Andy has a PIN number that he specified when he set his account up. And notice it drops you directly into the work center that Andy is associated with. So right now, Andy has one job that he's working with, and this is something that he is clocked in on. So not only is he clocked in, but he's also working this job. So what we're going to do, and you can tell he's working that job because it shows stop activity, not start activity, but let's take a look at that job. So we're going to pull the job information up, and as you can see, we can see what sequence this is, what assembly number it is within M1 if it's a multi-assembly type of top-level part. We can actually sequence through the different work centers or the different areas that this particular piece is going to go through, but we're working on step 10 right now. We get some information on the part, the revision, the number, the quantity that we need to make, how many do we have left to make. In this case, both are still sitting there. A little description about the information. And notice here we can look at the preview notes. So these come from M1. So we can enter and view job notes, assembly notes, and operation notes. So again, that's coming in from M1 and feeding to the shop floor application. Down here, we can look at the specific operations. There was a bandsaw operation, sequence 5, that has been production complete. You could see we're in step 10 and we're logged in as setup. And step 20, the final step, is the milling step, which hasn't started yet. We can look at the materials. We can also transfer materials, and if I have the authorization, I can back flush that inventory so that it automatically updates the inventory once this part is finished. But we can do material issue and material transfers. We can pull up specific documents here. So if I wanted to look at a part drawing, I can have a look at that drawing and the details that go with it. I can even download it if it's something that I want to store for future reference. And then lastly, we can look at the job traveler. And the benefit to this is we might want to go to a paperless shop. And by opening the traveler on a web browser such as this, you'll have access to be able to scan the barcodes that go with each individual sequence. So here you can see the barcodes. We have the detailed information on the traveler. Nothing specific here. If you're already an M1 customer, you know what our job travelers look like. But here's what it would be if we were to open it up here via the system. So we'll go ahead and close that. And that gives a little bit of information on the job itself. Now, of course, I can come in here and stop that activity and move on. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to the work queue here, and I'm going to look at everybody. So let me pull up all of our departments and all of the work centers. You could see that I have a ability to look quickly at what jobs are actually being run and what sequences they are. So if I have multiple jobs going on at the same time, we can see the green dots, and you can automatically sort. We can come in and do a filter, and I may only want to see just the active jobs or see them all. I may want to look at just the priority. So I actually sorted by priority. But if I click on the filter, we can just look at the urgent jobs. So, or we can do a actual search. So let's do this. Let's look at just the job ID that matches 542. And we'll implement that. And now it's filtering, and I'm only going to pull the jobs associated to 542. So we clear that, and we select all, and we'll get back to our normal sort. So pretty flexible sorting capabilities. And if you really wanted to put together something a little more complex, I could go to a sort that allows me to sort by priority and then by part ID and then potentially even by, let's do sequence. And so you'll see how they're built out here, and we can open them individually. So you could put together your own specific sequence of sorting. Now, this is selectable at the admin level. So if this is something you do not want your manufacturing team, your floor team to be able to do, this can be blocked. So let's go ahead and just quickly clock into a job. So notice here it says view the job. So before you get started, we can look at it. We can start setup or we could start production. So let's start setup. We'll clock in, and this is still in the work queue. So we got to flip over to current activity, and you can see now there's my setup. So we'll go ahead and clock in, finish our setup. Okay, I've done the machine. I've cleaned the bit, changed the bit out. We're going to go ahead and stop that activity, and it's going to ask me how well I did. So did I finish my entire setup 100%? And if so, was it a partial completion, a rework, or complete? If you do select partial or rework, they're going to enter some information down here. However, if we're just going to enter complete, we can go ahead and move forward and just put a comment in here. Great job. Now, you can end setup and go right into production, or just end setup. So in some cases, actually in most cases, you're probably ending setup and going right into production. So we'll start that. And then when we come in and stop that activity or actually do a material issue, there is no materials to issue against this particular job, but if we had materials to issue, we can issue that from here. And then we stop the activity. Now notice a little bit different screen, right? So if we do a partial and we select a rework, here's where we put in the quantity that we are reworking and what the rework reasons are, and this is pulling out of M1. Or we're actually reworking and scrapping, so we can come in and enter both a rework and a scrap for some reason, and go ahead and end. Maybe it was a machine calibration issue, and we can end that production. So that will now allocate back to everything inside of M1, the inventory, the time cards, everything is now syncing back with the main system. So pretty quick overview. One of the things that you can do here, if you are clocked in on a production job and you attempt to clock out, it's going to tell you that you can't. It's telling you that you're working on a job. So be aware of that. One thing a user could do is sign out. So maybe I need to sign out. I'm going to run out to lunch, and then I'm going to sign back in again after lunch, even though this job is still running. That is acceptable. You could go ahead and sign out, but keep in mind that you are still clocked in and you are still clocking time against that job. So until all jobs are cleared, at that point, you can clock out.